Welcome, everybody. My name is Roger. I'm the Vice President of Student Success with Altius Test Prep. We are streaming live at our crazy MCAT Day event. Today, we're giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes, scholarships, and we're assisting pre-med students from all over the nation in their preparations for their MCAT exam. I am excited because in this segment, we're going to be giving away a $2,500 full tuition elite program. I'm looking forward to sharing that with one of you. I'm also excited because we're going to share some insights from all over the nation with you. We're being joined this afternoon by our regional directors who live and serve in communities from one coast to the other, and actually assist in a variety of events and preparations and help in regards to assisting pre-med students identify the tools and resources that not just give them programs or practice exams, but actually score improvement, get true lifts, and moving past kind of the overall pre-med experience of try and fail, and actually kind of more of a one and done experience in regards to their MCAT test. With that, what we really want to discuss is how at a local level can you get more assistance and more resources and even more scholarships and training. And so with that, I'm going to introduce you to a variety of my peers and colleagues who I really appreciate. We're first going to connect with John Phillips, who is a regional director overseeing Texas and Mississippi. It's my understanding that there's quite a tornado warning going on right now, John. So I want to make sure you're safe and everything's well on your end, and we're able to get you connected okay.
Hey Roger, I appreciate that. Yeah, we were dodging tornadoes the entire time, but we made it. But anyway, I'm excited to be here, so I appreciate you having me, Roger.
You bet.
So as Roger kind of alluded in that introduction, my name is John Phillips, and I am the regional director over Texas and Mississippi. A lot of territory, but I love serving it all. My experience is going to be a little bit unique from a lot of the regional directors in that I was an Altius student myself. So I'd struggled taking the MCAT twice before I ended up finding Altius and getting a score that was good enough to not only get me accepted in the med schools that I'd previously been rejected to, but with almost a full tuition scholarship. So I kind of took that experience and I wanted to apply it towards tutoring. So I started tutoring students. And then I saw this huge mission that we had. Altius really started hitting the nail on the head with something that's my personal mission, which is I want to make excellence and accountability available to everyone, not just those that are fortunate enough to be born into great situations or in good locations. And so I teamed up with Roger and the rest of the team at Altius, and we're bringing Altius and the success that we've had to some of the rural locations like the backwoods of Mississippi, like where I'm from. And then I'm also going down and bringing it to the more rural locations of Texas and the more urban places like Houston and Dallas as well. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm just so excited to be able here. And who here is excited for that $2,500 scholarship? Who wants a free elite program? I know. I wish I could go back in time and put my name in the hat, but that's quite all right. But anywho's, I just wanted to introduce myself. If you're at Texas, or if you're in Texas or Mississippi, I'll be the one that's helping you out and kind of walking you through this journey. And never ever feel like this is something that you can't do, that this is a bridge that you can't cross. The MCAT is kind of laid out like this huge science content test, but you'll see, like I did as a student through Altius, that is not necessarily the case. And a great score that's going to get you into that white coat is acceptable to anybody that is really willing to put in the work. Thank you so much, Roger, and the rest of the team at Altius, and good luck with that $2,500 scholarship.
John, thank you. I got a question for you, and if some of you students have questions that you want to throw at John or any of the regional directors who were chatting, just feel free to throw that into the chat. But John, give me a feel of kind of your experience having taken this test multiple times. What changed or what became a different experience, not just in the materials you have, but more so what changed with John?
That I'm glad you phrased it like that, because that was the difference. What changed with John. And Roger would probably kick me for saying this. It's not like I learned any new sciences the third time around. I knew the sciences when I went to take the test. I knew everything that was on the MCAT, and I still kept making the 502 twice. And so what really shifted was my mentality towards the test and my understanding of what the test was actually really trying to tease out from me. Okay, it's trying to tease out this doctor mentality of whenever somebody comes into your office and you're a physician, you're never going to have met that person. You're not going to know anything about them. And they're going to present to you with multiple symptoms, some of which are going to be valid and some of which are not going to be valid. These are kind of like your basic sciences on the MCAT. And you're going to have to be able to have mature thought process to reason through those symptoms and figure out which of these are legitimate issues and which of these are concerns that we need to address now, and apply that towards the solution. Okay, the MCAT is the exact same way. It's using the exact same thought process, and that's actually why it's the medical college admissions test. And so really, Roger, that's what changed is I got a understanding of how to do that. And I learned it through the strategies that my tutor Jake and the rest of the mentors at Altius ended up teaching me. And it was really refreshing, because I tried to learn strategies before, through like Reddit or YouTube or my buddy that made a 518 or whatever, but they would just say, use strategies and trends. And like, what the heck does that mean? If you don't put a name on it, you can't improve at it. So really, that's what changed, Roger. I had a more focused approach that was really focused on changing my thought process instead of dumping more crap at on my desk and saying, "Here, memorize this, and you'll do good."
Yeah. Very cool, John. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Stay safe out there. Don't want you swept away to the Wizard of Oz land.
This is my element, brother. I'll be good.
Thank you so much, John. Let's shift now, and I want to introduce you to Brandon Siegmiller. Brandon is in Nashville, Tennessee, and he has had quite an influence over there for the last several years. Brandon, can you hear us okay?
We're good to go over here. Thank you very much, Roger. My name is Brandon. I actually did the Altius course, but before I did, I actually thought I was going to approach the MCAT very similar to how I did the SAT in high school. I thought I was going to finish my junior year, take my final exams, take a couple of weeks to go back and review the science, just like John was talking about, review the science and go take the MCAT. I'm really glad that that's not the way I did it, because somebody took me to a seminar, a free seminar that Altius was putting on at one of the club organizations that I think one of my friends here is going to talk more about that. But he took me to this seminar that Altius put on with the pre-med club there at BYU. And Warren Curtis, the founder of the company, he was there, and he presented a number of things, one of which is the results. And this is unique because I'm not aware of any other company that publishes their results. These can be found on the website. There are certainly more up-to-date results that are available as well. And the most important number to pay attention to is that this most recent year in 2020, when everyone else across the country was really struggling, the average score for my students and the students being mentored in other parts of the country, the average score was a 516.4. Okay? Let that sink in really quick, because those of you who know the MCAT, you're aware that the MCAT is graded and scored as a conglomeration of 4 scores that get put together that range from 472 to 528, the average being a 500. The average MCAT tester with Altius was a 516.4. That's where that logo, let's see if I can point at it, right there. That's what the logo represents, is that result right there, okay? Those results, I will also remark, the results that Lauren showed me that day and the results that Altius continues to publish today do not come from Altius. They come from a variety of sources, like research firms and other schools that are putting this together, including one right here where I am in Nashville. Those of you who know your geography probably already know which school I'm talking about, but the results are rather preliminary, so we're holding off on actually publishing those results right now. But they're looking very good right now, to the point where it's a complete inversion of pass and fail rates for students who do the Altius course versus those students that didn't. That being said, seeing those results and also getting the 90th percentile guarantee was what I needed to hear to get signed up with Altius. I got signed up that January to take the MCAT in May. In those 5 months, there were some very important changes that happened, okay? My very first of all, my first practice exam score was a 495, okay? 495. I'm so glad I didn't go with my original plan, because that would not have worked out. A 495 doesn't get you into any medical school in the country, or out of the country for that matter. Over those 5 months, my score went up by 24 points to a 519. Okay, to the point where when I applied to medical school and I got in my home state of Texas, I got accepted to medical school in Texas, but Texas knew that I could interview and get acceptance almost any country, at any school in the country with that with the 519 MCAT score. So what they did was they offered me tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships, guys. If this looks like an expensive experience preparing for the MCAT, I can tell you firsthand that I can't afford to not have taken the Altius course because of the interest payments I don't have to deal with. The tremendous cost of medical school was very much reduced for me. In addition to that, I had a job with Altius that was helping in a tremendous way so that I didn't have to worry as much about supporting myself while I was in medical school. Okay, I have personally mentored over 100 students. Very similar stories to mine, also some very different stories to mine. Okay, I've mentored and my peers, my colleagues who also are mentors with Altius. We have tutored students with learning disabilities, students who are non-traditional, students who are in a early admissions program, all types of backgrounds. Okay, the same results apply. And yes, I see that in the chat. You guys are wondering about the guarantee. The reason that Altius has that 90th percentile guarantee that I have seen work for all of those students, the reason for that is because Altius is a results-driven company and has been able to achieve those 95th percentile average, that 516.4, okay? That's the reason Altius is able to maintain that 90th percentile score, okay? Let's see. So I got into med school. I got that white coat like Roger and John were talking about. I'm pretty proud of that, but that's in the past. The things that I'm more proud about were my experiences where I got to connect with patients and other people and really make a difference in their lives. Thank you so much, Roger, for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to chatting more with each of you. I noticed that my phone number went up on the bottom of the screen. You're welcome to text me or call me if you guys have any additional questions or just want to chat about med school. All right. This is what I live for. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Brandon, thank you. That was very helpful. Sure appreciate you. I appreciate the discussion in regards to that 90th percentile score guarantee as well. It's really important that we discuss the intent is to actually get you to a result and to a final destination. And I love that we had those questions in the chat. More questions, you guys feel free to plug them into the chat and we'll address them as we go. Let's go now to Kansas City. We've got Colby Campbell on with us today. Colby, can you hear us okay? Colby, I'm going to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. You're now coming through as well.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah. Tell me about your world, Colby.
No, not a problem. Well, you guys, just as a little intro, I kind of, my territory isn't as simple as Texas and Mississippi, area, but I'm basically from Kansas to Indiana and north. And so there's a lot of schools in those areas, but I definitely love being here in the Midwest. It's home for me. But it was interesting. A couple of years ago, I kind of want to tell you guys why I'm here. I am not like Brandon and John, who were former Altius students. I wasn't a former Altius. In fact, until I started working for Altius, I had never even heard about it because this is not a world that I had existed in. 10 years ago, I started chiropractic school, went through that whole thing, and opened up a chronic pain clinic in the Kansas City area. And then just in the chat, you guys, I'm curious, how many of you guys have ever ridden or been on a motorcycle? Throw a yes in the chat if you've been on a motorcycle before. So as you guys can imagine, if any of you have ridden a motorcycle before, 4 years ago, I got T-boned. And it changed my world. And if you guys have ever been in an accident, you know you're on a motorcycle, you don't have that steel wall surrounding you to keep you safe. And so my family, obviously, my wife freaked out when she had to come pick me up at the hospital, but it completely changed our world. And our practice suffered. My practice suffered at that point. And then not even a year later, I was in a multi-car collision while at a convention in California on the freeway, and was in a multi-car pileup. And that just compounded my injuries to my L4, L5. I had bilateral labral tearing in my hips, and it really limited my ability to maneuver and move. If you guys can imagine, when you're working with people and patients, the ability to be able to get up and get down and help patients get up and down, I couldn't do. And ended up with, I actually ended up closing my practice right as COVID hit. So it was just unfortunately ironic that all happened. But my wife and I were sitting there wanting to know what that we were going to do. And that's when Altius was introduced to me as an option for me to stay in the medical world. And so we really dove into Altius and who they were as a people. Did they have the same standards and morals that my wife and I had? And I will tell you guys, hands down, they did. And let me just kind of give you one of the biggest things that I found that impressed me most about them and their love of giving back to the community like I did. You guys, we all know what COVID is. We've all been there, had that experience. You guys as students, you probably had friends. You guys maybe were working. You were told to go home, work from home. You're told to get off campus and disappear. Don't come back to campus. Throw a yes again in the chat if you were worried about your GPA. You know, when that happened, you're scared. Okay, oh my goodness, I'm having to leave school. How am I going to keep my GPA up? Because I got to keep a high score. How to keep that going? Anyway, guys, to give you the point in this, when the AAMC shortened their test, they told everybody that they were going to go down to the 5.5-hour test. Within 48 hours, Altius had created a 5.5-hour test that they gave away to students. They offered free tutoring to students to keep their GPA up and ended up helping 7,000 students. Not Altius students, they opened it up to everybody. And they offered to 7,000 students. You guys, how awesome is that to be able to participate in a company that puts you first? They put your score and your ability and your chance of getting into med school, because who knows, maybe one of you guys, well, I'm still in recovery for myself. It's going to be a long process for me to do this. One of you may be the ones that go through med school and you find exactly what it is I need to be able to have my mobility back. I can mobile, but you guys, for me, if I walk up and down a set of stairs 2 or 3 times, my hips, my legs, I'm done for the day. And I'll stay in bed the rest of the day. So you guys, things like what they have done on fixing the pre-med and changing that mentality has been amazing. And I am ever grateful for this chance to pay it forward to students like you guys, and to, you know, the good-looking guy here on the screen with me who's sitting underneath that blue logo, and get to work with him. It's been awesome. Thank you so much, Roger.
Colby, thank you. And I hope you saw the chats in there, the kind wishes that were extended to you and your safety and your recovery. And I hope as you go take care of your students and your schools, that you do so in a great big Hummer and not a motorcycle.
I'm all for it.
Wrap you in bubble wrap and put you in a Hummer.
I'm going to need the bubble wrap for myself at this point, especially if I ride a motorcycle again. My wife's
Absolutely.
not definitely letting me buy a bike again. So,
Well, thanks again, Colby.
you're welcome.
Well, let's move over to the other side of the nation. Cameron DeVries is joining us. He oversees Los Angeles offices. With that, I want to welcome Cameron.
Hey, Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and it looks like the video's catching up as well. So welcome aboard, my friend.
Awesome. It's great to be here. My name's Cameron DeVries. I'm over the West Coast, the beautiful West Coast of the United States. I'm actually located in Henderson, Nevada, about 20 minutes from the Las Vegas airport. We're also considered the extended suburbs of LA, but I cover the entire beautiful West Coast. It's great to be here. We are so grateful to have you joining us today. The pre-med student community is an amazing community. You students are unique, more driven, and have a greater strength in you because of the long distance you have to go to make it to your goal. And I'm so impressed with all of you. We love to work with you. We also love to work with the clubs on campuses. We know that the pre-med world, the pre-med community can be confusing. Your path can be confusing at times. And the clubs do a great job at helping bring resources to you. Want you to know that we are excited to work with clubs throughout the nation to bring them the resources that help you. We just as Brandon talked about, he was at a program that a club sponsored where he learned about Altius. It was one where we were putting on a free seminar, and we do that all the time. We work with clubs, we do proctored exams, we'll do MCAT strategy workshops, very focused classes. We can focus on CARS or Psych Soc or BB or the CP sections. We can even put together entire series of events for your clubs. So over the course of a month or over the course of several months, we can do multiple classes and courses. And as daunting as the MCAT is, don't forget about admissions. There's a lot of work that needs to go into your application, and we are excited to work with students. We have a full admissions program, and we also do workshops on admissions. And above all of that, we work with clubs and do scholarship programs. We know the cost of getting to the point of taking the MCAT can be very difficult. We do everything we can to bring in finances and resources to help offer scholarships to students throughout the nation. And what better way than through the clubs on your campus? So as members of clubs, go find out, work with your clubs and your club officers and find out what resources they have to offer. And if they're not working with Altius yet, get them to work with us and reach out to us. You have my name and my email address up on the screen. Call me, contact me, however is convenient for you, but we can work with you to get these types of programs set up for you and your clubs. And as club officers, we're happy to work with you. We work with you all the time. We've done these in person. Of course, right now, because of COVID, most of this is online and virtual, but we are excited to be able to get back into in-person events as we move forward. But anyway, it's great to be with you. It's great to be able to have you join us in this event today. We are excited to work with you students throughout the nation. We know the course is difficult. Many of us have traveled that course before. We know exactly what you're dealing with, and we want to walk with you on that path and help you get the best score you can and get into medical school so you become the people that we go to throughout the nation when we're dealing with medical issues, and that you're very well prepared for that. Thanks, Roger.
Cameron, thank you. Hopefully this just gives you a flavor and a taste of the kind of support and advocacy that's available for all of you pre-med. Sometimes I feel like the decision to go into medical school is faced with an opportunity as if we were to say, let's fly to the moon. So if you're going to fly to the moon, most pre-med students are aggressive and hardworking enough that they're willing to do it. And they go and seek out help and they ask, okay, how? What should I do? And the pre-med world is then just filled with a whole world of go figure it out. If you're an adult, if you're nearly graduating from a university, you should probably be at a point where you just better go figure this out on your own. And so it leads to a lot of confusion and a lot of opinions. We want to clear that out. We want to give you very specific direction and focus. One of that comes from what you're seeing here in front of me on my desk here. We believe that you've already received the training in the sciences that you need in regards to the deep portions of it. What I mean by that is you probably don't need another chemistry textbook, another biology textbook. My guess is that you already have them. What you need is an understanding of what is actually tested on the MCAT and how to spend your homework time specifically on that. So as you participate in these Altius programs, you're going to work in this book, one textbook, not 8, 9, 10, but one textbook very focused on the elements of each of the sciences that we know are tested. Not everything you learn in 2 semesters of chemistry or 4 years of college can be tested during a 1-hour segment of an MCAT exam. So with that in mind, it's important that you spend your focus time on those things. And so my thanks to these gentlemen that have joined us, giving you some insights on those types of things and allowing you to see a really clear path towards that. So with that, as it comes to really clear paths, I want to award one of you a really clear path towards improving your MCAT score. We're going to give a full tuition scholarship to one lucky individual. This is $2,500. And the envelope says, I'm going to get this wrong, Anjali Singh. Anjali Singh from the University of Maryland at UMD. Congratulations. My team will reach out to you, watch for the text and the email that's coming, and respond to that to claim this scholarship, $2,499. Some of you are hoping to be the winners of that. We'll do more drawings throughout the afternoon. Each time that we log into these segments, you'll have the chance of winning additional prizes and scholarships. Later in the day, we're going to give away a $7,000 program. Full tuition, 45 hours of private mentoring with somebody who got a near perfect MCAT score. Later, we'll also be giving away multiple scholarships and even an iPad. So continue to join in with this. I do want you to know that those of you that were hoping to get this full ride $2,499 scholarship, I'm going to ask my team to post a code on the chat for you. And I'm going to extend to anybody participating in this segment today this coupon code that will reduce this program by $1,500. So look for that code, and if you utilize that, we'll at least get you as close as we can to getting that tuition knocked down and getting you the help you can. Our next segment at the top of the hour is going to be all about admissions, application, a focus on the 15 activities. We're going to invite Dr. Michael Larson, who's currently doing his residency in Virginia. He's our chairman that oversees our admissions committee from Altius Test Prep. He's going to join us and give you some really powerful training in regards to admissions and application. So with that, I extend my thanks and appreciation to everybody that's joined us and encourage you to join us at the top of the hour through the rest of the day as we continue to provide free training and awesome MCAT crazy scholarships and prizes. Be safe out there. Bye, my friends.